You might as well just read the damn book. Read the damn book.
Read the damn book.
Is that our new tagline? Read the damn book.
Damn book.
1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome back to the To Be Read podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Vanessa. And today we are going over the first half of the year's favorite books. We each have 5 books, and one of our books can be a reread.
Yeah.
4 are brand new this year. Not like published, but brand new to us reading it this year. So we are going to try and convince you to read these books. You might have read some of these and you might not have. We are going to start by giving the title and the synopsis, and then our favorite quotes, and then we're going to briefly talk about why we love that book. Spoiler alert. There will be some spoilers. We're going to try and keep spoilers to a minimum, but we are going to be giving quotes that might give away light spoilers to the books.
Yes, I'm so excited. It's been a really good reading year so far. So I'm excited to share some favorites tonight.
I had the realization that there are just some months that are bangers and some months that you're like, how did I read that many that were bad that month?
Right?
And as I went back to like look at quotes, I also was like, oh boy, you gravitate towards a certain kind of quote too.
I still distinctly remember April of 2024 being one of the worst reading months of my life, and it's haunted me ever since.
I think I actually vividly remember that month for you.
Yes.
So
yeah, that was a bummer.
Some months are just like
rough.
I always have like hard months in the summer just because like you're out doing stuff. My numbers are always lower and I'm okay with that. But like even just finding books to read can sometimes.
I'm very proud of myself. I don't have any rereads on here. Super excited to talk about these books tonight. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. The first book on my list is The Poisoned Daughter by Sheila Masterson, which it was in my TBR, but you were like, I read this and I loved it. And I was like, okay, here we go.
I did love it.
So this is a romantic fantasy that is a standalone, which not always my favorite. And usually the reason why standalones are not my favorite is because when they're good, you want more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, because you like being in that world. But it was nice to have this, like, the story wrapped up. Like, I would go back in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that the story of it all was wrapped up.
What, you don't like the intense pressure of like, this is not
waiting for books to come out. It's ruining my life.
Here's the thing about that is I started not reading the books that weren't complete because as a rereader, I was wasting a lot of not wasting a lot of time rereading because I like rereading, but there was a lot of time dedicated to rereads and there's so many great books out there. So I was like, okay, I'll hold off. But then I started seeing spoilers everywhere. And so then it just doesn't hit as...
You can't win.
No, there's no winning. You might as well just read the damn book. Read the damn book.
Read the damn book.
Is that our new tagline? Read the damn book.
Damn book.
So the synopsis is, this is like what is on the back of the book. Okay, every person Harlow Cairnwell kisses dies immediately, and that's the way she likes it. The poison-lipped youngest daughter of Lunamede's magical founding family has used her power to annihilate their opposition. Her first husband is in the ground. Her new betrothed is next. But the merry widow has a secret. When she's not acting as an assassin at her parents' whims, she moonlights as a vigilante for abused women in their walled-off city. Meet a man, lure him in, kill him with a kiss. Until one night, Harlow kisses a mark and he doesn't die.
The Poisoned Daughter will be trad published.
This month?
I think in August. Yeah, in August. Yay, Sheila.
Way to go. So the reason why I really like this particular book, one, I'm a romantasy gal. I like it. It is different and there is unique writing. If you kind of lay it out on paper, it's not unique, right? Like girl who has some deadly thing, like falls in love with this guy that she's supposed to kill. Like we've heard that before.
But there are so many things that set this book apart, I feel.
I love a good romantasy. It has all those aspects you love. It's kind of presented in a unique way. I mean, there's like a mountain fortress, like I don't know. We've read some of these, but maybe it's just how it's described. Maybe it's the fact that it's a standalone. It made me view it differently.
I think just like the fact that only like the leading family, only her family has magic.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody else does. And they all have to kind of like give of themselves to maintain the magic that protects them from the bad guys kind of a thing.
And then she gets whisked away into another kingdom, and a lot of time is spent in this enemy kingdom. I think one thing that really solidifies this for me was the romance. The banter in it is amazing. They have chemistry right away. It's one of the only books that I've liked their dual point of view. It is a dual point of view. I think why I liked the dual point of view is when you just get inside both of their heads. Sometimes when I read a male point of view, it's very like
Horny.
well, there's that. I was going to say one-dimensional, but
I've read some really horny male POVs where I'm just like, are you like 15? Like, did you just discover that you have a penis? What's happening?
I mean, that's true. Henry's like that too, though, but
He's a horn dog, but he's a three-dimensional horn dog.
the perfect man. So I like the relationship between them. The banter is amazing. The chemistry is amazing. You get that right away because they meet each other fairly quickly on. But there's a lot of internal struggle that our FMC is having. And there's like some mental things. She's, really advocating for these abused women throughout her city. And then, I don't know, there's like a really cool ending. And I don't want to say it's a twist because it's not like
twist.
Well, there's some twists.
There's some things that I was like, what?
There's definitely things that happen that I would have never guessed. So I guess we could call that a twist. But it was uniquely done. It was thrilling the whole way through. I just had like a blast.
It's just so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. So my favorite quotes that go along with this is born to be queen, cursed to wrangle the egos of men. Just, there were so many man-hating quotes in this book. Due to the fact that it's about, a large chunk of it is about helping abused women. The only thing more dangerous than a man with a bruised ego is a woman with a score to settle. Those are both a part of the same vein of like, men are scum. And I kind of, okay, here's the thing. I kind of struggle with that narrative of like the man-hating narrative. I'm not one who like thinks men are inherently stupid.
Well, you're wrong.
And I think it's because I grew up with a lot of men like around me. I don't know. It really worked in this scenario. Like a good subplot is about this, avenging abused women. But one of the things that I liked is all of her internal struggles. And one thing that really hit home for me is a quote, and it is, grief is not an absence, it's a presence. Just like so simple, so poignant.
That book
and its delivery
really touches grief in a beautiful way. It's a powerful theme that's carried throughout that book.
But it's a good time.
It's so fun. And she is spicy.
That is a very spicy book. I would say it's between ACOTAR, Mist and Fury, and Silver Flames. I think Silver Flames was spicier than Poison Daughter.
I think Poison Daughter is just a little bit kinkier.
Yes.
I think that's
the amount of scenes, I think, is more in Silver Flames.
Yeah.
But
it's just a little kinkier.
Yeah.
A little more voyeuristic. You catch my drift. I was actually talking to two of my friends about this morning because I did not recommend it to her from the get-go because I was like, I don't think she's going to like the spice. But I texted her sister and I was like, I think you'll like this book. She just read it and I was like, yeah, sorry I didn't recommend that one to you. I just wasn't sure. She's like, why do you think I'd like the spice? And I was like, because you just told us you thought it was weird. And she's like, I can still enjoy it and think it's weird.
So what's your book?
My first book of 2026 on my list is The Poet Empress by Shen Tao, which I read back in January. And it's one of those books that as the days go on, I just keep thinking more and more about it. So the synopsis for Poet Empress is, Wei Yin is desperate. After the 5th death of a sibling, with her family and village on the brink of starvation, she will do anything to save those she loves, even offer herself as a concubine to the cruel heir of the beautiful and brutal Azalea House. But in a twist of fate, the palace stands on the knife edge of civil war, with Wei trapped in its center, at the side of a violent prince. To survive, Wei must harden her heart, rely on her wit, and become dangerous herself, even if it means becoming a poet in a world where women are forbidden to read, and composing the most powerful spell of all, a ballad of death and love.
Ooh,
whew.
Shivers.
Feeling it. I need to reread this book because I just... So The Poet Empress is one of those books that, like I said, the farther I get from it, the more I'm just like, I loved that book.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it so
much. Was it kind of like, because you said when you read the sort of Kaigen, like the further away you got, the more you were like,
yeah,
no, I'm obsessed.
Oh yeah, along that same vein. It's full of profound themes, and I was not expecting anything that happened. I think when I picked it up, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, like probably a romantasy. No, not a romantasy at all.
Just fantasy?
Just a fantasy with like super profound, powerful themes. Dark and twisty, hard, thematically brilliant, and gorgeously told. Just great. I loved it. My quote is also a man-hating quote because, like we said,
honestly, though, that's kind of a theme
but it's
in a lot of books.
Men in power and also suppressing women. So that's like a big theme of like the women aren't allowed to read. And in this book, the magic system is writing poetry. So
that's like the magic system?
You perform your magic through writing poetry. So what you want, you have to like write your poem in order for what you want to happen. So she comes to the castle completely illiterate and can't read and is taught by one of the servants illegally and is able to compose this poem in order to
It's very Blood Over Brighthaven.
Another
great one.
Another great one. But my quote is, men never think much of people like us. We are not the ones sitting on thrones or holding court. After all, but their underestimation, I am convinced, is our strength. Our names may not be in the bylines of poems, but we still have power to change things from the shadows. In our own way, it has been the case since the first dynasty. I thought uncertainly of all the classics C had shown me that detailed only the deeds of men, but perhaps women were there too, between the lines, not visible.
So good. That is so good. That is definitely high on my TBR. I've seen a lot of great reviews for this book.
There's just too many.
There's too many damn books.
I need to reread it so bad.
I actually had that thought when I was writing all of my notes. I was like, should I reread that? Should I reread that? And eventually I will. These will be books I will reread. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the
readability is high.
That's one of the greatest compliments you can give an author, I think, is to reread their books. Like, you liked it. Because I feel like a lot of people don't. A lot of people are like, there's too many good books. And I totally understand that. But we rewatch movies all the time.
Honestly, one of my criteria to buy a book. If I'm going to own it, it's because I love it and I plan on rereading it.
Oh, it's a good criteria.
That's how I try to keep my book buying at a
reasonable
level.
Let's be real. We all buy way more books than we need.
Yeah, we do. All right. Book 2 for you, my dear.
Book 2 is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne.
Boy fantasy.
Oh my gosh. I hate that term, but
we're just out here getting our feet into the epic fantasy world. We love John Gwynne.
Yes, I'm a big fan of his writing, but I will say this is so hypocritical because I just said I don't like the term boy fantasy, but like it's very boy writing. Like,
this is the one where they're humping in bushes.
Well,
right?
it's like there's like these super awesome battle scenes, which, you know, anyone could write, to be honest. But then like there's not really any romance. No, there's none. But it's funny because there was like a moment when I think I read a line that was like, and then they went and humped in the bushes, and I was like, okay, you could have written that so many different ways.
Things just a million things at once. This is why we will never get Botox in our faces.
Oh, I know so many people love this. This epic fantasy is a trilogy that is complete. And this is the first book. I've read 2 of the 3. I need to read the 3rd. Set in a brand new Norse-inspired world and packed with myth, magic, and bloody vengeance, The Shadow of the Gods begins an epic new fantasy saga from the bestseller John Gwynne. After the gods warred and drove themselves to extinction, the cataclysm of their fall shattered the land of Vigrid, I think is how that's pronounced. Now a new world is rising where power-hungry jarls feud and monsters stalk the woods and mountains. A world where the bones of the dead gods still hold great power for those brave or desperate enough to seek them out. Now, as whispers of war echo across the mountains and fjords, fate follows in the footsteps of 3 people, a huntress on a dangerous quest, a noblewoman who has rejected privilege in pursuit of battle fame, and a thrall who seeks vengeance amongst the famed mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. All 3 will shape the fate of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods.
Amazing.
I know. It is an epic fantasy. Here's the thing. It is Norse-inspired, and I kind of suggest at least an immersive read on this one, if not the audio, just so you can kind of hear. But I liked the immersive read because I could see, because there's a Norse alphabet in there. Like there's kind of some weird symbols. I was like, how do you even say this? So I apologize if I butchered some of that. But this book follows 3 point of views. There's Orca, Elvar, and Varg. And one is a slave. Varg is a slave. Elvar is the noble woman who kind of rejects privilege to go join a band of mercenaries. And Orca is a mother whose son gets kidnapped. And you know, the whole series follows these journeys and they eventually meet up and things ensue. But let's be so for real right now when I say Orca is the jewel of this book. I think everyone can agree with me that she is the coolest character. And I won't say why, because Dan Books he has a whole video on why I should not expand on her name, because she has like a whole name, much like Princess Donut, Queen Anne Chonk, right? There's like a little bit of a spoiler there. But Orca is the coolest character, one of my top characters of all time. She's a mother trying to find her son who is kidnapped. And there's so many good quotes here.
In the land of fictional mothers, the top tier being Penny Dunbar and Darrow's mother.
Do we know her name?
We do, but I never remember it.
Okay.
She is Darrow's mother.
She's just Darrow's mother.
So in the land of Penny Dunbar and Darrow's mother and Matsuda Misaki from Sword of
Matsuda
Kaguya.
Misaki, right up there.
Where does Orca fit?
Right there.
She's there and
she's right there.
Mothers.
But I mean, we were talking to a fellow book friend and he said he was trying to get his wife to read it. And I was like, tell her that Orca is like a mother. And like, because if you're a mom, there's just something about just that alone that hits so well. And this quote that I have is about Orca, and she's talking to, it's like a little creature, her little like kind of sidekick pixie kind of guy. So she says, I am blood, I am death, I am vengeance, she said, her voice flat, empty. Vesely looked at the 2 sea axes that had slain Thorkel, thrust inside Orca's belt. What are you going to do with them, mistress? The tenure asked. Orca looked over the sloping hills and down to Feller village, a smear far below. I'm going to find the owner of these blades and give them back to him.
I'm getting lots of chills.
I know. It's so good. So I think what I really liked about that particular quote is it just showed you exactly who Orca was. She was no nonsense. I'm here to get my son back. I don't know. The writing, it's really weird because like John Gwynn's a guy, and there were some times where I was like, how do you know that's how mothers feel?
I'm really in awe of authors' ability to convey experiences that they have not had and that are so on the nose, like so accurate. I mean, this is an example of one. You know, I think we see that in Red Rising with Pierce Brown's writing. There's just things that I'm just like, I know that you as a man have not experienced this, but like you've written it so beautifully. And it always feels really special, especially when it's about motherhood. All right. My second book is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I freaking love this book. Here's the synopsis. Let us fly now to the empire of Arun, where after 24 years of peace, Burson the Brusque must end his reign. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 contenders compete to replace him. They are exceptional warriors, thinkers, strategists, the best of the best. Then one of them is murdered. It falls to Nima Kra, the emperor's brilliant, idiosyncratic high scholar, to find the killer before the trials end. To do so, she must untangle a web of deadly secrets that stretches back generations, all while competing against 6 warriors with their own dark histories and fierce ambitions. Nima believes she is alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. If she succeeds, she will win the throne. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. We are the Raven, and we are magnificent.
Ooh. I always love like
I'm getting so many chills tonight.
Well, I mean, these are the best of the
These
best.
are the best that we've read this year. And The Raven Scholar is like all the fun that I wish and hope for in a high fantasy. Like, the characters are spectacular. The story's clear. It's the first book of the series, but I feel like it stands alone. Like, if you were to just read that first book and just be like, yeah, that was good. Of course, you're not going to know what happens to those characters, but I feel like it ends on a point where it's like maybe you could fill in some blanks or whatever if you wanted to. And I love that because I find a story that's just set up to be kind of hard. You know, you just kind of want more from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the voice in this, like, as you can tell from the end of the synopsis, like the Ravens the ravens play a part in the narration of this and in telling the story. Nima's relatable and wonderful main character. She's a voracious reader, a nervous talker, and a big thinker, which I greatly relate to. And there's just magic and some of the best humor in this book. Like, I loved it from start to finish. And the quote that I wanted to share, I was trying to think, because I mean, there's some good ones about like how our life is like a story and it's like the books that we read. But this one is from the perspective of the raven, who says, respect. That's all we demand. Recognition of our magnificence. Offerings, love, fear, trembling awe, worship, shiny things, blood sacrifices. Some of us very much enjoy blood sacrifice. Truly, we ask for so little.
Blood sacrifice.
The voice and just like the wit is so great in this book.
I think that is something that a lot of romantasy or fantasy even struggle with, is sometimes the humor of it and the balance of humor. Sometimes it's overly humorous in a way that it's hard to keep it.
That kind of pulled you out.
Yeah. But when it's so effortlessly woven into a story, like, it's just gold. I love
So
it.
good. So good. 10 out of 10. Recommend 1,000,000,000%.
And my favorite books make me cry, make me laugh, make me giddy, make me kick my feet, like all in the same
Make you
book.
feel everything. Yes.
Mhm.
And there was definitely that in here.
Yeah.
So good. Antonia Hodgson. Yes.
Another book that I really enjoyed this year was Duskbound by Greenwich and Lennox. Duskbound is book 2. Actually, I thought it was funny. Most of mine are book 2s. I don't know if I just like a sequel. The second books are either always like infinitely better or infinitely worse.
Yes.
It's either or. They're never really kind of just the same.
Yeah. It's weird to see it just kind of like, it's even weird to see it like a gradual slope.
Mhm.
It's either like epic or like,
Yeah, it's one or
there's
the
really no in
other.
between.
Book 2 is actually completely different than book 1.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, so Duskbound. So Riftborn is the first book of this series. It follows a girl. Her name is Fia Riftborn. I won't get really much into it, but like, she has like a whole thing in the first book. The first book is cute. Like, it was fun. The second book, though, was top tier. I loved it. And I, much like anything anyone does, I think the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I think the writing is better in this particular instance. But so the synopsis is, Fia Riftborn thought joining the Guard was the hardest choice she'd ever make. She was wrong. Taken prisoner by those she swore to fight, Fia uncovers the devastating truth that upends everything she ever knew about herself. The only thing that is certain is that Fia's growing powers are tied to the Isle's survival. As war looms on two fronts and tensions reach a breaking point, the void that gave Fia her power is calling, but answering it means betraying everyone she left behind. The Guard, her friends, Lyric is the love interest in the first book.
Spoiler.
That was a spoiler. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you read it. In a war where nothing is as it seems, choosing the wrong side could cost her everything, including the brooding commander whose darkness seems to call to her own. Spoiler. The first book is about this girl who like joins a Guard and this guy's helping train her powers or something like that. And stuff happens. So she's kind of a part of this like Guard, and a lot of her time is spent in there, and he's like her commander, which, let's not crap where we eat, but who am I to tell her any different? Anyway, and then in the second book, she gets taken. And so without getting too spoiler, because there will be spoilers if I get too much into that book.
Gotcha.
But if you liked ACOTAR, you'll like this series. What I really liked about this series is the plot and the world building.
Those are your favorite things?
What? So the plot is very straightforward in a way that some people might find boring. But there's like a lot of things along the way that builds this world and like really brings you in without being overcomplicated, because there is a point where it just is like, I don't need to know this information.
Yes.
It's distracting to what I'm trying to ingest. This one is simple enough to really ingest and to get the gist of it. There is another book, The Ascended, and that's like interconnected, and the way that they all hook together. I remember reading it and I felt like that scene in, is it Silver Flames? No, is it Crescent City? Where Bryce comes in and it like connects and you're like, like,
Spoiler.
well, dude, ACOTAR's been out for so long. Anyway, so I felt those ACOTAR feelings.
Okay.
So
Love that.
I really enjoyed myself with that series, and I suggest it to anyone who liked those veins of books.
It's like a true romantasy.
A quote that I really liked is, if this was how stars died, in fire and fury and perfect destruction, then let me blaze with them until there's nothing left but endless dark.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So the main guy in this book he's a shadow daddy.
Slay.
I know. But I will say it's a unique way of being a shadow daddy. So he's kind of like, he's been lost in a shadow world.
Oh, cool.
And he has no memories for 30 years.
Okay. Here's the thing. I love that. If you're going to give me a shadow daddy, put some jazz and spin on it that makes it your own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's been done.
Give me all the shadow daddies, but they need to be different in their own way, right?
Yeah.
That's
We need to have a reason. That's a good point.
That's my spiel.
I mean, shadow daddy is like kind of an overused trope. As long as you do it uniquely and out of the box.
That's how all tropes should be, right? You need to make it unique and your own. And
that is a really good point.
we're all going to be finding the same formulas and doing the same things, but just make it your own. Add your little spin to it. Art begets art begets art.
Amen.
That was my little twist on Lauren. Can we stop talking about Red Rising? Can
No.
it not be my entire personality? All right.
No. I really liked that book because I really just felt Akatar vibes, or the feelings that I had
Like
with
warm,
Akatar.
cozy.
Yeah.
Just like comfort.
Yeah. It wasn't overly complicated, but I had a great time. So
My next book is The Open Era by Edward Schmidt. Recently turned pro tennis player Austin Hardy has been out since high school, and it's never been a big deal. That is until he becomes the first openly gay man to compete in a Grand Slam. Suddenly, being gay is a huge deal, with headlines to prove it. Unprepared for this new spotlight, Austin's anxiety disorder hits a breaking point and he trips and falls at practice. Right next to the very attractive, very talented, and probably straight Diego Cruz, ranked world number 2.
probably.
Probably straight.
Probably.
The two players start a friendship off the court, but between their flirty banter, mixed signals, and brewing rivalry, Austin is thrown further off his game by Diego. With the eyes of the world on Austin, the weight of history on his shoulders, and Diego across the net, he must decide if love means nothing or if love means everything as he battles for the trophy during an electric 2 weeks at the U.S. Open.
Interesting. This is the one Adam was talking about, right? You and Adam.
And I was just like, with Adam,
Mhm.
and then we've been texting about it since. It just hit at the right moment for me. Austin's anxious, like so anxious, and I too am that way. And watching him, reading about him navigating life with that level of anxiety was like kind of really cathartic for me. Like there were characters in his life that I was like, oh, that's this person in my life. And I don't know. I just the quote that I'm going to read, like I'm a little nervous about reading it out loud because like this is something that has been really hard for me in my own life, but I've never read it in a book. And so when I did, I was like, oh my gosh. So he's having a conversation with Diego, and Diego says, do you ever think about how good you would be if you didn't have to deal with that? By that, he means the anxiety. His question lodges in the back of my throat. Yes, I think about it. Every time I step onto a court, every time I lose, every time I win, every time I make it this far, only to know it will catch up to me sooner or later. I think about it every day. And then later in the book, he's talking to his sister and he says, he asked me if I ever wonder how good I would be if I didn't have to deal with my anxiety. It's like he looked into my eyeballs and could see the back of my brain like my thoughts were subtitled in front of him. And just when I heard him say, like, I wonder that every day, I wonder what I could be if I didn't have so much anxiety, if I didn't have this, like, I think about it all the time. It's always going through my head. Like, those are questions that I've always asked myself too, of like, if I didn't have this, what could I be doing? Like, where could I have been? Which is like a horrible question to ask yourself, but it is like, it's real. It's constant.
It's like a self-reality check.
Yeah. It is beautifully written, and it's a debut, and it's so good. I cannot recommend it enough.
The cover's really pretty.
The cover is gorgeous. And honestly, I found this book because I was on that horrible website Goodreads that sucks. And it like that has those giant banners advertising books that normally I'm like, whatever. But this one I was like, oh, that's very pretty. And I clicked on it and I was like, I am going to read this right now. Boop. And I did.
Oh,
That never happens.
I think that book sounds very beautiful.
It's so good. So good.
My next pick for one of my favorite books of the year so far is The Wicked and the Damned by Rebecca Robinson. Now listen, my people. If you like romantasy, if you like romantic fantasy. My sweet spot is romantic fantasy. I like fantasy, but I like a little bit of romance in there.
Yeah.
So my next pick for one of the top books of the year so far was The Wicked and the Damned by Rebecca Robinson, which is book 2 of the Dark Inheritance trilogy. And the first book is called The Serpent and the Wolf. And I love that. If you are a fan of the Bridge Kingdom, it's got that vibe, okay? Where there's a world going on, but the romance is...
I think about that setting of the Bridge Kingdom a lot.
Me too. I love that book.
All the time.
This is in the exhilarating second romantasy novel in Rebecca Robinson's Dark Inheritance trilogy. Okay, there we go. A fiery couple forced apart must navigate a deadly maze of the politics and power to reunite across a continent at war. Torn from her husband Reed's arm and dragged back to her homeland in chains, Vasa is no longer a ruler, but a political pawn. Now under the control of Ozic, a cunning Zetir witch with a stranghold on her magic, she faces annulment, forced betrothal, and a kingdom that no longer feels like her own, as Ozic's machinations aim to install himself as the true power behind the Asterian throne. Vasa is forced to take part in his game. Meanwhile, across the continent, Reed is done playing politics, but waging war is never simple, and a soldier's fury cannot stand up against Ikara's bureaucracy. With allies fading and time slipping away, Reed may have no choice but to infiltrate Asteria on his own to find the woman he loves and bring her home. So this is very much in the veins of, like, it's a girl who gets sent to enemy kingdom to kill her husband. Like, that's, you know, that's kind of the main thing. What I really liked about this book, the world building is really cool. It reminds me a lot of, like, Shield of Sparrows, if you've read that. But the mental, in the first book, you get a lot more of her inner mental working. She's working through a lot of brainwashing that, like, her family has. Basically, her family's the worst, and the worst. And she's trying to undo a lot of some mental traumatic experiences. She has power that only the kingdom that she marries into has. So it's kind of weird that she has this power. Oh, cool. And you find out her mom studied magic in that kingdom.
Love.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of like inner workings. It's a lot like Bridge Kingdom that way. But I really liked the focus on mental, I don't want to say mental illness, but like...
Just mental rep.
Yeah.
Mental health.
Mental, just like take care of your noggin kind of situations.
Just like work through your demons.
And then like Reed is honestly one of my top tier book boyfriends now. Ooh. Like we should revisit that. We need to revisit our list.
Update our list.
He's just like a great guy. And I feel like in a land of shadow daddies, sometimes you just want a good guy. The quote that I really loved in this is, "The world could not imagine a woman clever enough to outsmart a man, so they simply labeled her a temptress."
Okay. How accurate, though? How accurate?
It is so accurate. I mean, sometimes the world doesn't know what to do with women. As
she's a witch.
Yeah, exactly. Historically, we have found this to be true.
Yes.
We can't make them royalty. We can't make them anything other than this subservient, like...
She's a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just labeled terrible.
I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. After what you just said, I'm pretty sure I'm not able to be that anymore.
What's that from? Princess Bride. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So I have a bonus quote, and this is from the first book, but I just thought it was worth mentioning because of the mental rep. Dismissing your emotions doesn't make them disappear. It only gives them a reason to rise later without your consent.
Boom.
I know. And another one is, "I don't begrudge the ways you chose to survive."
Oh,
I know. Because, like, they have to work through some of their... I mean, like, she's there to kill him. Like, it's... And he knows it. And, like, their wedding night. Like chapter 1.
Love it.
She's trying to kill him in their wedding bed. And, like, she escapes.
Bed. Nice.
And then he's, like, enamored because... What?
I have 2 things to say. One, I love this phenomenon of, like, the girl's name being, like, crazy, and then the guy's name is just Reed.
Reed. That's true. I don't think I've realized that renaissance.
She's Vasa, but he is Reed. He is Reed.
One of my favorite parts about that series is sometimes there are books that are like mental illness. And sometimes we go through phases. And it's like not a mental illness. It's just like, I'm feeling a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling like I'm going through mental growth. or you're feeling different things. And that's kind of how it frames it. It's not like this mental thing. And then her power itself is
realistic.
Her power itself is like manifesting in that way where she feels like a very harsh thing, a very jagged thing, and like she's there to kill her husband. Yeah. I mean, and so she's trying to work it out and work through it. And I think that happens to us a lot, and it goes unspoken a lot of like, we're just trying to work through a shitty time in our life.
Because it feels more relatable because we all go through those moments of like, I'm in a low, I'm in a valley right now.
Yep.
Like I have to work through this. So I love that. Book number 4 for me of my favorites so far this year is This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Alona Andrews. And this is a husband and wife team of writers.
We love the hubby wife duos.
Love it. When Maggie wakes up cold, filthy, and naked in a gutter, it doesn't take her long to recognize Caer Torin, a city she knows intimately from the pages of the famously unfinished dark fantasy series she's been obsessively reading and rereading while waiting years for the final novel. I would just like to dedicate this to all of the Patrick Rothfuss fans out there who will never get book 3 in the Name of the Wind. Okay. Her only tools for navigating this gritty world of rival warlords, magic, and mayhem, her encyclopedic knowledge of the plot, the setting, and the characters' ambitions and fates. But while she quickly discovers she cannot be killed, though many will try, the same cannot be said for the living, breathing character she's coming to love. A motley band that includes a former lady's maid, a deadly assassin, various outrageous magical creatures, and a dangerously appealing soldier. Soon, instead of trying to get home, she finds herself enmeshed in the schemes and attentions of dueling princes, dukes, and villains, all while trying to save them and the kingdom of Relis from the way she knows their stories will end, in a cataclysmic war. I'll be honest, I started this book 2 times and put it down before I finally picked it up the 3rd time and stuck with it. And the 2 times I started it, I was just discouraged. Like I just didn't feel like I could get into it, but I kept seeing such incredible things about it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it.
It goes to show like time of life, like sometimes
literally, it just has to be the right time. And I found the right time. And there's a lot of dense epic fantasy here. And like you said, she's got encyclopedic knowledge. So there's many moments of like info dumping. It's like Game of Thrones epic. Like, and she's sitting here like, okay, this is going to happen to you and this is going to happen to you. And then this is going to happen down the line. This is how your political system works. This is how your religious system, like, it is so cool. And Maggie is there to explain all the things. But the world's epic and complex, and you learn that as Maggie goes through and explores it. It's so much fun. And it made me think of like, what world, if I got dropped into, could I be like, I know where this is going. I know what's happening to all of you.
Dead. You get a girlfriend. Dead.
This is another one of those books where the humor is just like on point. And the writing is so wonderfully descriptive. One of my favorite quotes was, I couldn't have been more out of place if I had set myself on fire. And another one I loved was, what's scarier than a rabid honey badger in human form? A rabid honey badger in human form who is your cousin. There's just some like, and it's, I love the juxtaposition of like, I am in this fantasy world, but I've also spent nights binging Netflix. And just being able to like talk about those things and compare them. It is so pleasant. It's just such a fun time. I loved it.
I feel like all of these books, I'm like, dang, those are high on my TBR list.
They're staring at you.
Yes, I do have that book
too.
Yeah,
I know you do, because you're like, I bought it.
I did. I mean, it honestly sounds like something I would enjoy. 100%. So and Julie and I know each other enough by now to be like, I don't know if you'd like that, or you would. So, yeah. But my last book on my list of reads for 2026 so far that are just amazing is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This is my reread. I didn't realize that book was so controversial because a lot of people hate the FMC DM. They think that she's whiny. They think, I don't know, maybe it's like the Violet Sorengala.
How do you feel about DM?
Well, I will go into that in a minute.
Okay,
but
cool.
This book comes with some controversy, and I will explain why I think it's all bullshit. Okay, an immortal world colonized by gods and ruled over by their cruel magical offspring called the Descended, healer DM Bellator, great name by the way, Bellator, yearns to escape her poor village, her mother's sudden disappearance, and the discovery of a dangerous secret about her past offered Diem an unexpected opportunity to enter the dark world of the descended royalty and unlock a web of mysteries left behind by her mother. With the dying king's handsome yet enigmatic heir, watching her every move with a ruthless rebel alliance, recruiting her to join the growing civil war, Diem must navigate the unwritten rules of love, power, and politics in order to save her family and all of mortal kind. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Break up the bullshit, Vanessa.
Here's the thing. This book is a slow burn, which is odd because there's a sex scene in like chapter 3, but
Forgot about that.
it's like the only sex scene you get for like 3 books, and you're like, okay. If you don't like slow burns, I can see why you might not like this. Diem as a character, you are allowed not to like if you don't like her, but let the people who do like her like her. We should do that with everyone, really. But
We should do that with everything, right?
she is young. This is a romantasy thing. She's like in her 20s, okay? Like, no one in their 20s is smart. If you want to read a mature character, find one with a mature character. Anyway.
Which is not easy to find a romantasy in the first place.
No.
Our characters are all little young babies
Yes, they are.
falling in love with 1,500-year-olds.
I just read The Kiss of the Black Flame by Helen Schurer, and the FMC is 35.
Hell to the yeah.
We love that.
Sure.
Love that. And she talks about things that only 35-year-olds would know.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes.
Representation for the women in their 30s.
So if you want that, do that. But I love Diem because she is inherently unlikable. Like, she is bold. She knows
what she's doing.
what
I mean,
does she? She knows who she is.
she knows who. That's what I meant.
Yeah, she knows who she is. Which
I've read this book.
Diem is rough and ragged, and you're allowed not to like her. However, just know that you know someone like her. You know someone who is. Julie's gonna be like, Vanessa, this is you. And isn't this great? Because reading, much like our discussion with Adam, it's great to see yourself in characters.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw myself so much in Diem, like when I was 20. She's just rough and ragged, and she knows who she is, and she's not gonna swallow an offhanded insult. She like fully confronts that. And I think that abrasiveness really turns some people off. And that's fine. I'm not saying you have to like her. Just know that there's someone reading it who is like that, who is a little abrasive, and they're learning to navigate that. And there's pluses with that. Anyway, I could go on that.
Speaking for prickly cactuses everywhere.
Listen, if you're a fellow cactus, please reach out, because sometimes I feel alone in the world.
I hug you and
I know.
cactus.
You are like one of 3 people I allow to hug me.
I'm just saying. I'm here. I
yes.
support you and your cactusness.
Thank you. Okay, going past Diem as a character, the world is so unique, and this is very fantasy-esque. Like, we have a complete unique world. I love the map in it because it's like a circle and then like a little island in the middle, and like how it all connects together and how the magic system works is really unique, but again, in a way that isn't super overcomplicated until you get like further in. I think the way that Penn writes the world is really cool and really descriptive. And I never felt like I was having a hard time following the story. So that was good. Let's be so for real and say Luther is the crown jewel of that book, like of those books. The yearning. This is like slowest of burns. This is.
I just have this core memory.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Driving home from Sam's Club one day. What was it, after a book club?
Something.
And we went up and hit up Sam's Club afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like driving us back home, and you are just like reading this passage where Luther is just like bearing his soul to Diem. And you're just like I love him so much.
I know.
And Luther's fantastic. I've read books 1 and 2, and I like Luther a lot.
Luther is a great MMC.
Yes.
He's also prickly. Sometimes we just got to find our prickly pear, you know?
It's true.
So here's some quotes. But I was made of swinging fists and rash words, my edges too jagged and my temper too hot. Nothing about me was delicate. And she's saying this in reference to, she has like a little boo thing at the beginning of the series.
Sucked.
Doesn't he though? She's kind of talking about all of his previous lovers because they weren't each other's first. And she's like, they were all delicate and soft, and there's greatness in that. There really is. But she was the complete opposite. And it's really easy to be in a world where you view your world harshly, where you compare yourself to people who don't. And you're like, why am I like that? I think everyone probably compares themselves in some way and they're like, why am I not like this? And so I related to that a lot. Along the same veins, I'd always been a Spitfire and proud of it, an unbreakable spirit in a world that wanted me to be quiet, small, subservient. But no longer was that spark manifested in courage or innocent mischief. Now it had become something destructive, something deadly. So she's talking about her magic specifically, but just the part of like just being a full flame in a world of candles sometimes is lonely. So I relate to Diem. That's why I really like her. As a whole, it's interesting to see our quotes because we're going to naturally gravitate towards quotes that we relate to, that we have felt seen in. And we're both going to pick up different things out of books. You might not have highlighted that if you had read it. And it kind of goes to show you, like, reading sometimes just how cathartic it is to read about someone or else, fictional or real, that has gone through the experiences that you have and how they've handled it. And it kind of gives inspiration. But also, you know, there are some things in there that I have highlighted, that are things that I aspire to do, aspire to be, and like words of encouragement and, or, you know, funny type of scenarios. So
I love that. Before I do my last book, as I was writing my list, there was a book that I started writing about. But you know those books that like become a part of your heart and you don't feel like you can hand that out because I don't know if it's like too vulnerable or
you don't want to accept criticism.
You don't want to accept any criticism on it. So I actually took that book off because I was just like, I can't explain why. I mean, I could probably explain why that book is special to me, but like I don't want to hear anything about it. So that book is Unbound by Peyton Corinne. It's a romance. I could go on a whole soapbox about how people just like don't think that romance is anything of substance. And I could talk your ear off about it forever. But that's not the book I'm going to talk about next. But I just had to mention it because I love her. But I will just not be accepting any input on her. So we're going to keep her nested away in a little box. My fifth book, though, is Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruocchio, book 1 in the Sun Eater series. I'm in love.
I think that's my brother's favorite series. I think it's so.
I am in love with this.
Have you told Jake?
Yeah.
You have an open marriage when it comes to books.
He knows because I was sitting on the couch tonight, audibly gasping at parts of book 2, and he's like, "What?" I'm like, "This book." He knows. He knows it's good. All right. It was not his war. On the wrong planet at the right time for the best reasons, Hadrian Marlowe started down a path that could only end in fire. The galaxy remembers him as the man who burned every last alien sealson from the sky. They remember him as the devil who destroyed a sun, casually annihilating 4 billion human lives, even the emperor himself, against imperial orders. But Hadrian was not a hero. He was not a monster. He was not even a soldier. Fleeing his father and a future as a torturer, Hadrian finds himself stranded on a strange backwater world. Forced to fight as a gladiator and into the intrigues of a foreign planetary court, he will find himself fight a war he did not start, for an empire he does not love, against an enemy he will never understand. This fracking book. I think this book fully proves that I am a sci-fi girly to my core now. I like fully converted. I've been buried, brought back to life.
Baptized by the font
in the font of sci-fi.
Who was the officiant there? Pierce Brown.
I was baptized into the waters of sci-fi. Probably my brother. I'm going to give him credit.
Okay.
Anyways, this book's epic from start to finish. And I picked this book up and everyone's like, that book is so slow. It's nothing like Red Rising. No, it stands on its own. And is it maybe a little bit slow for some people? Sure. It was not for me. I was in it from the get-go, which I was really surprised by because dense things overwhelmed me. So getting introduced to a new world, new languages, all of it was like, oh, okay. But I was like, I'm so in. This is going to be great. One thing that this book has going for it, probably the series is the retrospective perspective. And I was just telling Vanessa about this. I love the retrospective because it's just like, I never would have thought that this would have been the last time that I saw her. And I'm like, what? You can't just say that and then keep telling the story. Now I have to get there. And so it just like keeps me so intrigued. It's epic scale, it's verbose and complex. I'm so down to clown with this book. I know there's some things that are just going over my head in the first read, but like, I'm here. And it was high time I found another series to be obsessed with. And I'm here. You know why? Because I went straight into book 2.
That is unique.
Which is unique for me. Okay, my quote from this one is, it's actually the opening line. Oh. Uh-oh.
We don't talk about opening lines here.
Oh, viral TikTok video.
Lasso that back in.
Here, how's this for an opening line? Light. The light of that murdered sun still burns me. I see it through my eyelids, blazing out of history from that bloody day, hinting at fires indescribable. It is like something holy, as if it were the light of God's own heaven that burned the world and billions of lives with it. I carry that light always, seared into the back of my mind. I make no excuses, no denials, no apologies for what I have done. I know what I am.
Ooh.
This is a 7-book series, and this guy is going to turn into someone who's killing billions of people.
The entire series is retrospective?
I think so. I don't know. I haven't read it.
We're getting there.
But I am so in.
I'm actually...
This man becomes Paul Atreides.
Mm.
So if you've read Sun Eater, please message me, please. Jake's read the first book, but now I'm continuing. He's got to finish Red Rising, and I've got to read this. It's going to be really hard when we get to the end of the year. It's like pick favorite books.
Okay, so let's talk about what's briefly, what are some anticipated books the rest of the year?
Well,
what are we looking forward to?
I'm going to be finishing Sun Eater, and I'm also in the middle of the Unselected Journals of Emma M. line, and I'm having the best time. So those are 2 that I'm like really in.
Yeah,
and
2 series.
Those are going to take me a little bit of time. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Those are
series.
I know.
Can you freaking believe it? 2 series.
That's wild. Series.
2 series.
2 series.
There's a lot of books coming out though.
Yeah, I feel like this is the summer of rereads. I have reread a lot this summer in preparation for books that have come out, that are coming out for like, I mean, also, I'm not like super into, I will read the ACOTAR books, but like, I'm not like chomping at the bit to like get a physical copy or anything like that.
It'll be a Kindle grab and all.
Yeah, whatever comes. But I am so excited to finally get the 4th book in the Everflame series or the Kindred's Curse series. So I'm really looking forward to that. Rereading Morningstar right now, and then I will be going on with Red Rising. My goal is to do Way of Kings. I don't know if I can do all of them by the end of the year.
I've got 3 books outside of the series that I'm already reading. Tempest by Victoria Aveyard.
Yes, that one is on my list.
That the date might have changed on this, but Liz Tom Ford has a new book coming out in a new series, and I'm very excited about that one. I don't know about the release date now. And Hollywood Ending by John Green, because I'm a John Green girl through and through. I cannot wait. So those are like 3 specifics on top of finishing the series. Is
going to be a jam-packed fall.
Oh.
Jam-packed.
September be dense, and I'm here for it.
If this is like the first video you're jumping in on, please note that we are now on Substack. So go. If you want to learn more about us personally or maybe more intimate book reviews, so go subscribe, follow us on all the socials, and we provide very entertaining content. You might not always agree with it, but we cannot deny that it is not entertaining.
You will have a giggle or two.
So the gigglers.
And what that means. But and as we always say, read what you want, read what you love, and read, and read some more. We'll catch you next time. Bye.